So before we get started, we'd love to share our rap song introduction video, and we hope you enjoy.
Yeah, okay, organic base, this is what you need. Take you to the future, live a life that can be disease free. All these toxins are taxing on our bodies, no doubt. All these GMOs and these processed foods we can live without. Yeah, wanna see you live a long time. Contaminants in our water and our food supply. From the meat to the dairy and the fish, what a shame. Not realizing that my insides were inflamed. Hold up, I know it's hard to digest, that's right. I found an organic plant-based website. I even got the app, yo, this is where it's at. Promoting a healthy life, it's time to put it on the map. Assuaged, trust you don't wanna miss. It's time for you to be your best, be your healthiest. Assuaged, trust you don't wanna miss. It's time for you to be your best, be your healthiest. Hey, Assuaged, let's go.
Welcome everybody to our student presentation. Today our discussion is about what is stress and how to manage it with self-care. Our student speakers today are Maria Reyes, Rylowicz, Gabriel Saiki, Raven Moore, Kaylnn Pitts. Our slide contributors are Maria Reyes, Rylowicz, Simran Sabale, Raven Moore, and Gabriel Saiki. We want to start off by saying thank you to Restream for supporting our student team. Restream's powerful multi-platform streaming capabilities have broadened our reach, connecting us with diverse communities across various social media platforms. Our message of public health and wellness now reaches those who need it most. Our agenda includes the following. Number 1, what is stress? Types of stress and common stressors. Contributions to stress, impacts, and how to recognize stress. Number 2, what is self-care? Descriptions and tips of physical, emotional, cognitive, and social self-care. Number 3, seeking help, setting boundaries. Number 4, stress-free techniques, relaxation and hobbies and interests, and a case study.
Stress. Stress is any sort of mental tension that is caused by difficult situations in our lives. While stress is normal, it is all in how we deal with stress that determines how difficult challenges will be for us to begin to deal with and solve. This overall sense of well-being affects us physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, financially, sexually, and spiritually. Types of stress. Acute stress is stress that occurs for a short period of time regarding perceived threats such as domestic violence and traffic jams. Behavioral stress that leads to unhealthy behavioral and coping mechanisms such as the use of alcohol or illegal substances and appetite changes. Chronic stress is stress that is long-lasting, such as the loss of a job or loss of a loved one. Emotional stress affects your emotions, leaving them unbalanced, such as anxiety. Episodic acute stress is short-term but occurs frequently, such as natural disasters or car accidents. Youth stress is positive stress, such as getting promoted at work or graduating from school. Mental stress affects your thinking, such as insomnia or loss of interest in daily activities. And physical stress affects your body, such as headaches or fatigue. Common stressors. There are 7 types of stressors that we encounter in life, such as physiological stressors, lifestyle stressors, major life event stressors, organizational stressors, financial stressors, social stressors, and environmental stressors. Their contribution to stress. Physiological stressors include pregnancy, injuries, or other physical health problems. Unexpected car accident or stem from other health issues. Life stressors, sleep deprivation or mismanagement of time. Work-life balance, demanding job forces us to order lots of takeout. Major life event stressors, life changes, positive changes, starting college, having a child, or getting married, and negative changes, losing a loved one or losing a job.
Their contribution to stress continued. Organizational stressors include schools, workplaces, or even clubs. People we work with at these organizations or the rules we have to follow. Pressure, good grade, or meeting a tight deadline at work. Financial stressors include a significant source of stress for people of all ages, taxes, thinking about unpaid bills, and unexpected expenses. Their contribution to stress continued. Social stressors are social health, lack of social support, or unhealthy social relationships that can cause us stress and damage to our mental health and conflict with people close to us or loneliness. Environmental stressors include um, environmental stressors are out of our control and include excessive noise or traffic or things like natural disasters or war. The impact of stress being physical, emotional, and cognitive effects of stress. Cognitive is poor concentration, memory problems, constant worrying and anxiety, and seeing the negatives only. Emotional includes depression, agitation, irritability, and loneliness. Physical includes musculoskeletal pain, chronic fatigue, breathing problems, palpitations, bloating, abdominal pain, and changes in bowel habits. Some other physical symptoms include headaches and migraines, hair loss, acne, and eye problems. Most reported cognitive, emotional, and physical effects of stress: anxiety and racing thoughts, moodiness, and excessive sleeping, respectively. How to recognize stress. Stress can affect our emotions, our body, and our behaviors in many ways. Sometimes it can be recognized right away. Other times we may keep going without seeing the signs and symptoms. Signs you are stressed include irritability, angry, impatient, overwhelmed, depressed, uninterested, worried, sense of dread. Symptoms because of stress include difficulty breathing, panic attacks, trouble sleeping, feeling sick, chest pain, and sweating.
Self care. Self care is the care we provide to ourselves to prevent chronic disease and disabilities from preventing us from being healthy and making better lifestyle choices. For example, better dietary habits, normal sleeping habits, exercising, seeking medical care when needed, as well as personal hygiene. While it's crucial to prioritize living life on your own terms, it's equally important to recognize that success and achievements don't need to happen all at once. Life is more like a marathon than a sprint, and pacing yourself can help ensure a more fulfilling journey. Physical self care tips: healthy diet, healthy immune system, and repair of damaged cells, extra energy. Mindful eating counteracts stress by encouraging deep breaths, making thoughtful food choices, focusing attention on the meal, and chewing food slowly and thoroughly increases enjoyment of the meal and then improves digestion. Regular exercise lower blood pressure and stress hormone levels. Aerobic exercise like walking and dancing increases breath, breathing, and heart rate so that more oxygen reaches cells throughout the body and reduces tension in muscles, including the heart. Physical self care tips continued. Practicing work life balance, vacation and personal time, or just set aside an hour a day. A periodic escape from the pressures of work can do wonders to reduce stress, increase productivity, and decrease the risk of physical and mental illnesses that are associated with workplace burnout. Schedule fun activities or hobbies at least once a week. Gardening, reading, enjoying music, getting a massage, hiking in nature, and cooking a favorite recipe are some ideas. Good sleep hygiene stress can cause a heightened sense of alertness, which delays the onset of sleep as well as cause interrupted sleep throughout the night and prevents one from entering the deeper sleep stages in which the body repairs and grows tissue and supports a healthy immune system. Emotional self-care. Medi- oh, Emotional self-care. Meditation can help you understand your feelings and thoughts and how they affect your body. There are videos, apps, and even podcasts that teach you how to meditate. Using a journal can help you be more mindful of your day, feelings, and thoughts. Reviewing your journal can help you understand common areas that may be affecting your well being. There are journal apps, journal with prompts, and even online groups.
Cognitive self care. Cognitive self care is an essential aspect of managing stress and promoting overall well being. One effective technique for managing thoughts and cognitive well being is practicing positive self talk. Positive self talk involves consciously replacing negative or self critical thoughts with more positive and supportive ones. By challenging negative beliefs and replacing them with positive affirmations, individuals can cultivate a more optimistic outlook and reduce stress levels. Another technique for managing thoughts and promoting cognitive self well being is reframing. Reframing involves consciously changing the ways we perceive a situation, looking for alternative perspectives, or focusing on the positive aspects. This technique helps individuals perceive stressors as challenges rather than threats, enabling them to approach them with a more positive mindset and reducing the impact of stress. Social self care. Social self care involves our relationships with other people. Spending time with others, whether that's friends or family, is important to our overall well being and happiness. Strategies to improve social self care include a planning face to face time, disconnecting from technology, scheduling time to be social, being aware of others and keeping in touch with friends, and reviewing your current relationships. Sometimes it's time for a break. Seeking professional health. Why? Professionals can help you identify tools to reduce stress. Professionals can help explain stress and the importance of managing to improve your mental health. How? There's wellness coaches, health classes and support groups, health lifestyle programs, mental health therapists. Where? Your community may have these resources available at lower free costs. Programs may also be funded through your insurance. Your school or employment may also have these resources. Setting boundaries. Why? Keeping your work and home life separate so that you can relax and focus on other things, such as not increasing your risk for high blood pressure. Where your personal life, you can establish a time or a day out of the week for family time or me time. At work, you can not answer work related emails or calls on your vacations or holidays. In your personal life, you can listen to music or read a book on the commute home from work to reduce stress. At work, it can be easier to leave work at the office if you make a to do list for the following day before you clock off. At work, you can also avoid working past your scheduled hours.
Relaxation techniques. Relaxation techniques can be done through journaling, reading a book, listening to relaxing music, being artistic or creative, taking a bubble bath, cooking uh, or baking, drinking tea, calling a friend or family member. Others include crochet, uh, volunteering, deep breathing exercises, meditating, and yoga, as well as physical exercises such as walking, running, and swimming. At activities and hobbies that you can hobbies and interests. Activities and hobbies that you enjoy can help improve your mental well-being. Research shows that people with hobbies are less likely to suffer from low moods, stress, and depression. Hobbies allow for the following: the opportunity to have some me time, an outlet for releasing stress, connecting with others, allowing you to focus on the present moment and not worry about tomorrow, allowing you to unwind while being productive, provides relaxation. Case study part one. A case study that highlights effective stress management through self-care is the story of Sarah. It's a true life story. Sarah was a high achieving executive who constantly found herself overwhelmed by work related stress. She was juggling multiple projects, dealing with challenges, deadlines, and facing increasing pressure from her superiors. As a result, Sarah noticed a decline in her mental and physical well being. Recognizing the need for self care, Sarah prioritized cognitive self care techniques. She started incorporating positive self talk into her daily routine. Whenever she faced a stressful situation at work, she would consciously replace her negative thoughts with positive affirmations, such as I am capable of handling challenges or I have successfully overcome similar situations in the past. This helped her reframe from thoughts and approach her tasks with confidence. For the case study part two, in addition to positive self talk, Sarah actively practiced reframing instead of perceiving her workload as overwhelming. She began to view it as an opportunity to grow for growth and development. She focused on the skills she was acquiring and the progress she was making, rather than getting caught up in the stress and negativity. This shift in mindset helped her regain a sense of control and reduce her stress level significantly. Through consistent practice of cognitive self care techniques, Sarah successfully managed her stress and improved her cognitive well being. She became more resilient, adaptive, and better equipped to handle work related challenges. Sarah's case illustrates the transformative power of self care in managing stress and promoting overall well being.
At this time, we would like to thank our students and open it up for our student discussion. Question number one: how common is stress? Anyone can be stressed. Our minds and bodies react to stress differently. Some people can disguise their tension or have coping abilities, but others can't. However, stress is common and may be managed with the right coping skills. Students, please turn on your camera so that we can add to our thoughts.
For this question, anyone actually is open to stress because there is no one person that is actually devoid of having stress. Stress can come in different forms, in different ways, and your ability to actually overcome it is what matters. Because stress can be, you can have stress in your workplace, as we have rightly said earlier. We can have stress with paying our bills, with paying or with even with kids around. So stress can come in different ways, and it's actually the ability to actually make positive of this kind of stress as they come in that actually help us actually break out from them. And it's not something that is easy to break out on a one stand, but it's something that can be done, managed from time to time, and with that, over time, there's a positive outcome.
I agree with Gabriel. Stress can be things that you don't even realize are stress. It could be anywhere, like we were saying. It could be at work, at school, in other settings, like in your personal life, when you are out in the community. It's just understanding how your body reacts to stress so you can identify it and then knowing how to handle it when it's happening.
Does anybody else have any other thoughts?
If not, we can go to the next two questions that we have. All right.
Okay. Question number 2. How can hobbies help with stress? Hobbies allow for an increase in relaxation, connecting with friends and family, an increase in productivity, as well as increase of self-confidence. Participating in activities has been proven to increase positive moods.
I will say that I could definitely agree with hobbies helping with stress. I know it definitely helps to keep your mind off of things when you're doing a hobby that you really love to do. And it's most likely at that point in time giving you like a positive stress. I know I did a lot of sports, and within sports, like there's still stress, but it's more of like an exciting stress. You're excited to get out there, but you're also nervous because you're wanting more to see what you can do and things like that, but in a positive way. And it always kept my mind off of the bad stress of like if you had a whole bunch of homework you had to go back home and do. You're like, oh my gosh, I have to go home and do a whole bunch of homework. But I'm at track practice right now, having a great time, working on other things, keeping positive stress up, negative stress down. So I could definitely agree that hobbies do definitely help with stress.
And I was
Yeah,
gonna add on, sorry, Gabriel, I'll let you speak. I was gonna say that also sometimes you might not identify like what works for you, so you might have to try out several different hobbies before you find one that fits your needs.
yeah. My contribution is that sometimes hobbies is good. It's really really good. I'm not ruling it out, but it's hobbies sometimes do not take away the stress per se. What it does is that it helps in a transient form. It kind of take it away in a little, but it still brings you back by the time you face the stress, because the stress, removing the stress is one part, but looking for ways to avoid the stress is another part. So that's where hobbies comes in. I feel hobbies kind of transiently takes the stress away and gives you that positive mindset, but which is good in another way because it keeps you going and opens your mind for solution on how to handle the stress.
I just would like to add that sometimes, unfortunately, our hobbies can be part of that stress in terms of a financial strain. For example, if you are an avid reader and you've done read all of the free books at the library and you need something new to read and you don't have $5 to buy a new Kindle book, that can help add to your stress. So you must be careful and enjoy your hobbies, but try to pick hobbies that you can, attend and maybe splurge and set aside $10 or $15 and go to a dollar store to be able to pick up a book or a crafting item to help relieve some of your negative stress. So you have to be careful with that as well. Raven, do you have anything you want to contribute?
I agree with all of you guys. I think hobbies are a great way to relieve stress, but you do have to be careful of adding more unwanted stress.
Okay, we'll move on to the next questions.
Question number 3. Is it okay to set boundaries? The answer is yes. You can set boundaries and say no to requests. We are all human and we cannot do everything within a 24-hour time period and need to have a break for self care.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. We actually need to set boundaries and actually take time for yourself. It's not all the time that you have to put yourself into. You are digging yourself into more problem by going into it. But sometimes when you take time off for yourself and actually set boundaries and push out and say, okay, now this is a me time, and this me time I'm going to use it to heal myself, to take good care of myself, and actually stay away from although sometimes you don't have to stay away all the time, but sometimes you really have to do it because It's about you. You are the one carrying the burden, and you are the one that is going to be the first person to start the healing process.
I
I
agree.
agree. I think we all like to be busy. um but sometimes you have to, being productive and being busy, but remember that you can't, like it says on the slide, you can't do everything. Even if you try, you might have to spread it out within a couple days to get stuff done. Even though your priority is getting stuff done, you sometimes have to consider that it's not possible. So always, managing your time, having breaks, because all of that is important in order for yourself and for the work to be productive.
Yeah, I'll add that sometimes setting boundaries can feel selfish. However, if we don't provide that self care to ourselves, we're not any good to anybody else that we are trying to help. And so, therefore, if you do not set boundaries, that can cause a mental break, which is going to cause more added stress that you just don't need. So, self care really is the important key here.
And this could be, I want to add, Crystal, it could be not just work related or school related, but with friends and family. Like if you have other priorities already and someone else is inviting you out, you can say respectfully you have other things and maybe a different day would work. So even things like that is a boundary. Or like how we were talking about finances. Like if you're a little low on money and your friends are inviting you out, it's okay to say, oh, I can't today. I have to do, something else at home, or even telling them like I don't have, the money to do it, maybe another time, even if it's a hobby or interest.
Our last student discussion question is: what are some signs of stress? Stress can sometimes be recognized right away, and sometimes it can be harder to recognize. Signs of stress include being irritable or angry, being impatient, overwhelmed, depressed, uninterested, worried, or feeling a sense of dread.
Yeah, for this question, I totally agree. Sometimes some people have a way of actually um, kind of covering their stress. They have a way of not outwardly showing it out, and it makes it so the only way you actually can find some of these is through anger. They are easily irritable. They get they stay on they stay idle. They try not to communicate with the society, just be on themselves because they are navigating through a lot in their life. So they are going through a lot, and being with that, they try not to come out, and you can't even tell if they are stressed or not. It's common with men, especially. Men tend to kind of hide their stress, their stress level. They hide it because they feel, oh, being a man, you don't have to show out your stress attitude. You have to make it kind of keep it to yourself. Don't worry, just keep it to yourself or say it to a few people. But it is, I think it's part of not, it is not a good, it is not a good approach. It is better to always let it out, because letting it out is like letting something that is eating you up out of the cage, and it gives you that freedom. It makes you a little bit light. So I think it's a good question, and I think a best way to actually do it is to allow the community or those your loved ones know about what you're going through, and look for possible ways on how they can actually assist in helping you out.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. Stress comes in very many different forms. Um, and so dealing with that, you just gotta know how to identify it and deal with it right away so you can start to feel better and get those stressors, if they, whatever those are, set those boundaries and try to get it to help you.
Does anyone have any final thoughts?
That concludes our student presentation. I want to give a thank you to everyone for joining our student team on our topic, what is stress and how to manage it with self-care. Thank you.